Hello everybody, it is -7 degrees Celsius outside, quite cold, and I'm out for a nighttime walk. Now, one of you asked after the video I made about things I miss from Holland that I also should make a video things I do not miss from Holland. So here we go. Now, if you don't want to miss any of my videos, subscribe and hit that bell icon, because that way you will get a message from YouTube saying that I made a new video and there's no chance you're gonna miss it. Now, let's talk about things I do not miss from Holland. Now, to start this list, I'm gonna have to tell you that I was born in The Hague and later on moved to a little town on the border of The Hague. And that town was called Pijnacker. Nowadays I think it's fused with the town next to it and it's Pijnacker Noordorp or Noordorp Pijnacker, I don't know. Anyway, so living in that area, what are things I don't miss? I do not miss traffic. I mean, the traffic system in Holland is pretty good, but the amount of people on the roads was so high. Oh, it's so... look! No cars! It's so nice in Sweden with so little traffic. Every time you come to an intersection, you can almost drive through it with your eyes closed, because you're gonna be pretty sure nobody else gonna be on there at the same time as you. Of course there are busy moments, of course there are moments when there's less people, but most of the time the amount of traffic here in Sweden is so much better than in Holland. You don't have to fight for your spot in traffic. That's something I do not miss from Holland. Now, talking about busyness, another thing I do not miss from Holland is the amount of people. There is just so many people in Holland. Like, did you know that Holland has almost or more than twice the amount of people living in it than Sweden has? But in the meantime, Sweden is 8 times bigger than Holland is. See what I mean? In Holland there's so many people, you can't just walk anywhere by yourself. There's always some other people. And for me, it's quite nice to take a little walk through the forest and just see nobody else and maybe have a chance to see some animals. In Holland there's so many people. When you go walking in the forest, if you can find some forest, you're guaranteed to walk into other people that are also there to enjoy nature. And I mean, if you're a people person and you enjoy crowds, that's fine. I just don't miss it. I like to be alone sometimes, in the quiet, with nature, by myself, or with my girlfriend. Now, with a lot of people comes something else that I don't miss from Holland. People make a lot of noise. All that noise made by people in Holland, so many people making all that noise. I have not been in a place in Holland where it's actually quiet. Actually quiet, you know? Holland is so densely populated and there's so many roads and everything. So no matter where you are, you could be in the middle of a small park or in the middle of a big park or in the middle of a forest. If you're quiet and you listen, you can always hear. And that noise is usually the closest highway. No matter the time of day, there's always enough traffic on those highways for you to hear that sound all the time. Here in Sweden, at my house, right where I live, sometimes it can be so quiet you hear yourself breathe. Like if the wind isn't going, it can be so immensely quiet. I had one person stay over camping my garden once. They were planning to stay for 2 weeks. They left after one because they said it was a bit scary how quiet it was. They couldn't handle it. I was a Dutch person, and I think he's crazy because I love the quiet here in Sweden. It's so nice to just be somewhere and not have to hear anything that you don't want to hear. You can actually choose to hear what you want to hear and not have to listen to all the background noise that all the other people are creating. Now, another thing that I don't miss from Holland is all the competition and all the stress. Like just going shopping, right? And you want to park your car. Everybody wants to park their car close to the entrance of the shopping mall or the grocery store. All the car spots are always taken close to the entry. And it's like people are almost fighting for those car spots. There's so much competition going on. People, if there's a line, people are rushing to be first in line. If you're looking for a job, people are almost fighting to get the job. People get angry at each other all the time. And that doesn't exist here in Sweden. Of course, there are always exceptions. But in general, people don't feel the need to park close to the entrance of a shopping mall. They just find a place that's a comfortable way to park and then go to the shopping. Like if there's a place close to the door and it's easy to park in, yeah, they'll take it. But if it's quite busy near the entrance of the grocery store, they'll just park their car a little bit farther away. And you'll even see people parking a lot farther away just so they can have a little walk. I mean, that's not the general attitude in Holland. Yes, of course, there are people that do that in Holland too, but it's not the general attitude. Standing in line here in Sweden is very nice and easy. Nobody's fighting you for your spot. It's just, yeah, take your time. Oh, you want to go first? Go ahead and go first. It's a lot more relaxed. Because my experience is just like the Swedes are so much more relaxed and less stressed than I've seen in Holland. And here it's just like chill out and take your time, and you don't always have to hurry. Here's an example, right? When we just moved here, we have been living here for a year, and we started talking to another Dutch person. And he asked us how long we've been living here. And we said, oh, we've been living here for 1 year. And he's like, oh, you're still de-stressing then. Let me translate that for you guys that aren't that great at English. He said, oh, je woont hier pas een jaar? Oh, dan ben je nog steeds aan het ontstressen. I mean, that's the thing he said after hearing that we've been living here for just 1 year. I think that's a very good example of how the attitude here is in Sweden. Like people have fika, which is basically some kind of siesta where people just, okay, let's have another break and just take it easy. Anyway, yeah, I don't miss the stress and fighting for position. Now, the last thing I don't miss from Holland, and one of the biggest reasons I actually moved to Sweden, is that I don't miss how Holland is built, how it's divided, what it looks like. I love nature. I love going for hikes, I love going for walks, I want to go out of my house and not have to do too much effort to go into nature. And I'm able to do that here in Sweden. Now, where I lived back in Holland, I could walk for 5 minutes and I would be in a dog walking park. Now, the dog walking park was quite nice, wasn't bad, had a little bit of forest, but it wasn't big. Like, with a 2-hour walk or 1-hour walk, you would be done there. There was nothing else to see after 1 or 2 hours. But here, at home, where I live, where I've lived for the last 10 years, almost 11 years now, I can walk out of my door and within, let's see, 20 footsteps, I am actually in the forest. And I'm still, after 11 years, finding new locations in that forest I haven't been before. Now that's the kind of living I like. In Holland there's so much concrete and just grass fields, and like, if it isn't a city, it's usually farmers' land. And if it isn't farmers' land, it's usually greenhouses or industrial areas or something else. There just isn't enough nature for me back in Holland. Now, that was my list. I hope you enjoyed it. I want you to remember, this list is based off of where I used to live in Holland, which is in the Hague area, and where I live now in Sweden, which is in southern Sweden. Now, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you all for watching. Hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to not miss a video, and I'll see you next time. Bye! YouTube says you might enjoy this video. Go ahead and give it a try.